I am not a fan of this waiting. They should have returned by now. Has something happened? This is not the Ulrican way. But I admit I'm not always the best at scouting, so I will follow the advice of the heroes of Middenheim. But I am concerned. Why did they take that damn Sigmarite with them anyway? Have I caused some offence? That Heinrich. I had hoped he could be a bridge between the Sigmarites and Middenheim. But more and more he seems to just wish to sit in the middle and not get involved. Makes it hard to truly trust the man. At least I feel Kruger and Lady Wittgenstein are on our side. Ulrich, give me strength. My axe longs to be used and not sit idle. I will not wait much longer, I can tell you that. This is Red Moon role-playing. Heinrich and Siegfrieda, you find yourselves on the floor of this uncomfortable, damp cavern. Still, it made sense. It was you, Heinrich, who heard the twang of the arrow. And you think maybe if you hadn't dived down as fast as you did, or maybe that arrow could have hit you in the head. Or maybe missed you. You don't know. All you do know is, for a few seconds, you wait with bated breath for the sounds of battle, multiple arrows, screams, movement. And you hear nothing. Nothing except the sound of water. No further twangs. Just silence. What do you do?
Well, even before it becomes apparent that there's no goblin cavalry charge roaring up the cave, my first move would be to grab Siegfrieda's torch and hurl it in the direction the arrow came from so I can illuminate that area.
You do so. You hurl it forwards, and it lands just outside and illuminates that, yes, eventually the cavern ceases to be and moves back into gorge. The water doesn't slow down, but it does seem like the pathways widen a little. Sadly, that's about it. You can tell that there's more space again outside, so the torch only gives so much illumination. But there are no figures, no people outside this cavern at least.
Assassins in the night. I will tentatively raise back up to my feet.
I'm breathing heavily and likewise climbing to my feet. Thank you.
My sincere pleasure. The arrow, is it goblin make or something else?
It's crude, feathered. You confess you don't actually know what goblin-made arrows look like. You managed to avoid them. However, there is something unusual about it that you don't think is normal. It's got something on it. Got a white bandage or a white bag. It's a bit dirty, but it's white, and there seems to be something, it's like bundled in it. Again, just like a piece of parchment or paper. It is an arrow after all, but yes, it's got a big white something on it, and in that there seems to be some sort of something, like a piece of paper or something.
Oh, Siegfrieda, do you make something of that?
Well, it's significantly dimmer in here now, but I'll give my best.
I still have my torch. I'm happy to give it to you.
No, it's fine. I'll hold it under your torch. I unwrap this note that has been delivered to us in what is frankly a very rude way, and have a read. In what language is it written?
It is written in no language, because there are no words. It's a crude sketch. It seems to have a dot, a big dot, and there's an arrow pointed at the dot, and someone's tried to draw lots of little figures and some... Is that a tent? It's a bit hard to decipher this. Then from there's sort of someone's tried to draw like wavy lines, and then there's some straight lines, maybe water and land, and it goes up, and then there's a left turning, or a left tunnel, or a left line, and down there's another arrow with a big smiley face drawn on it. And that's it. Would you like to roll an intuition check?
I think I'm going to need one. I get a 40 out of 41.
Alright. let's assume this is a very crude map. Let's assume that's water. Let's assume... Is that you and your position?
Well, I'm guessing the camp is our camp.
You think so? It makes sense. It doesn't... The map starts there. It doesn't really continue from onwards from where you are, so it seems to start at this point with the arrow, and then it leads to this left turning. So there's somewhere up ahead where there's a left turning, and then smiley face. Is that good? Is that bad?
Well, it's almost certainly bad, because whoever drew this map that has been shot in our direction clearly knows where we are now, hence why they were able to loose a volley, and is directing us to a place that makes them happy. Now, what I would suggest, and I say this with a smile, is anything that makes someone who wants to deliver a map to us by arrow happy is probably not the kind of place we want to go to ill-equipped. But we can't afford to tarry either. We're going to have to rouse our group and all investigate, I suspect. But you are the far wiser scout than I am.
One thing's for sure, Heinrich, if you rouse everyone now, then they're probably all going to be quite tired. It's not quite dawn yet, although you're starting to wonder how you'll know it's dawn. Maybe you'll have to look south as opposed to north. Also, you can make an intuition roll as well.
Oh, sure. 66 over 49, that's not going to happen.
Yes, no. Siegfrieda, as always, is smarter than you at these sort of things, so you don't see any reason to question what you said. It makes perfect sense. Bad things. Nothing else here.
No, I think we let everyone have those last few hours. It's not going to be any safer marching about in night. But whatever this is, if it makes them happy, I don't want them to have it. If that makes sense?
But why deliver it to us like this? Well, I suppose they may have feared to approach, but...
Taunting us? I have never...
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Well, let's...
No, you're probably correct. Let's hold back. I do not wish to lead us exhausted into a trap, even though there is part of me that thinks exhausted is better than dead. If everyone is so tired after a day's scouting, then sleep is what they should get first.
Then do you, for now, Heinrich, take up watch and get the third watch ready and just proceed as normal, keeping a good guard up until it is indeed what you think is morning.
That seems the most prudent move.
Then that is what you shall do. Siegfrieda, finally, you will get your rest. Whether or not you sleep or not is another matter, especially again as your eyes are trained on that wall, that mural in particular. Your eyes just keep going back to it. But then you get your rest and sleep. Erica helps, nuzzling against you in the cold. And morning comes. The third watch was simply one of the priests and one of the physicians. Heinrich Schild, do you say anything to the next watch that consists of a priest and one of the physicians? Do you give them any information, or do you just tell them to keep watch and wait to tell everyone else what's going on in the morning?
No, I don't want to raise any alarms, metaphorical or literal. I will give them just enough information to continue their watch. And then come the morning, I'll have Kruger take a look at this note as well. Perhaps he knows something or can make something more of it.
Then morning comes. You wake up, Heinrich, Kruger, and Siegfrieda, perhaps disappointed. It's still cold, it's still wet, and the wonderful sunlight you were hoping to see is almost completely absent. It's very, very dark to the south, and to the north, it's no longer pitch black. Instead, it is almost a twilight gloom. It seems that no matter what time of day you go, it will be dark up ahead. But everyone else is stirring, a bit grumpy, but none the worse for wear. Finally, Jocelyn just sort of folds her arms and says to the three of you, Sigmar preserve us. Well, I guess we move on. Unless, of course, finally you're coming to your senses and realizing we should send at least a messenger back or something.
Does this map imply that we'll be remaining underground?
It is too basic to make any assumption. All it says to you is forwards and then left. Could mean forwards and left in any direction or angle.
Does it imply a distance?
Nope. You really are wondering if the person who drew it had any concept of things like distance and geometry and artistry. You can see in that gloom ahead of you that the gorge continues for some way into the dark, and it's much narrower now, and looking upwards you think you can see that the reason it's so dark is because if there is foliage above you, it's now overgrown foliage. There could be a forest all the way up there in the mountain, or at least a starved forest.
Well, I look to my companions. I don't really want to make the decision as to who we send back, knowing that we don't exactly have a massive party with us.
No. I can't think of a good reason to send one person over another, except that we should keep the houndsman with us.
It certainly makes sense. Remember, at the end of the day, even though she's grumpy, you currently outnumber the priest captain and can countermand most of her commands as long as you don't ask her to harm her own people. Also, you've not informed anyone of, well, the developments. Not even Kruger.
Oh, I intended to let Kruger see the map the moment he woke.
In that case, that's the very first thing that's happened. While that conversation was happening, you have been shown a white, crude night goblin arrow with a white bag on it, and this strange little map. And I'd like you to roll an intuition roll.
That is unfortunately 92 over 59, and I have no more fortune.
This is very confusing. What does this mean? You're not sure. Why would they fire an arrow? But then again, your night goblin knowledge. Why haven't they attacked? This doesn't make sense. They don't send messages unless they want something, maybe? You don't know. This is confusing, and you're very uncertain about what this map means. Other than that it seems to, yes, have something up ahead, say it with a smiley face on the left.
Well, it is certainly very interesting that they would send this to us, clearly knowing that we are here and not attack us. I mean, there's not that many of us. Surely they would be able to take us on if they sent a large party. So perhaps there is something that they actually wish to show us, or perhaps this is actually some form of attempt at communication. We know that they're primitive, but from what I've heard from Quintus Fastbinder, they do have some form of culture and are perhaps smarter than we give them credit for.
I'm not sure I like the implication. Well, we can't let the main camp go unaware. If we don't report back soon enough, they'll think we're lost, and then Sigmar knows what will happen. Whatever this place is, whether they want us to go there or not, I suggest we do. If nothing else, we can see what it is and make more educated decisions about what to do with it. In the meantime, perhaps a priest and a physician we send back with news that we are not yet dead?
That sounds, yes, like a good idea.
Yes.
Do you present this idea then to the group and to the priest captain?
My inclination is to present it less as an idea and more as an order.
In that case, make a leadership roll. But give yourself a plus 20, as I imagine both Kruger and Siegfrieda back you up.
I'm glad they did. That is a 56 under 65, so one level of success.
For the most part, your orders are unquestioned. Jocelyn, as always, has her say. I'm not against you sending people back, that makes sense, but this is clearly a trap, and the whole situation that you would even go and by yourselves investigate, I'm sorry, is a foolish one. We should all go back and get ready for battle. I'm not saying we take on every single goblin in the mountain, but night goblins are cowardly creatures who will flee when resisted with the light of Sigmar. We will slay them and make our way through. Yes, there may be some loss of life, but if that is Sigmar's will, that is Sigmar's will. What you're suggesting, in my opinion, is extremely dangerous.
If you lack the fortitude and the confidence in our work to come along, you're more than welcome to return as well.
At that comment, Jocelyn moves forward for a second. and her hand just wavers on her hammer. Watch your words carefully, Inquisitor. I will do as you say, but do not question my fortitude again.
I'm not questioning it. I'm asking you to demonstrate it, Priest Captain.
Then I will send off the others as you say. Are you suggesting then that you want me and all the others to attend your little expedition here?
Quite.
Hi, Rick. Make an intuition roll.
Ooh, 29 under 49. I finally know a thing.
You do. You would be aware that there are pros and cons to her herself being with you. Obviously, the pro is she is going to hit things with that hammer. The only con is if a situation isn't volatile, she will very likely try to make it volatile without an awful lot of leadership and charm to calm her down. So that is the information. You can make your choice from based on that.
Well, the reality, so far as I see it, is my choice is not whether or not she will be volatile, but whether she will do it somewhere I can supervise her, or whether she will do it back at the camp with nothing but the grace of the gods to keep things together.
Indeed. And so you send one physician and one priest back, leaving you with just Jocelyn, her priest, who just so happens to be Brother Ludwig, the priest you're familiar with, Siegfrieda, the Houndmaster and his 5 hounds, and Oleg, because you've just sent the halfling. Oh, no, actually, no. And the halfling, because Oleg is a bit faster than Grunhilde. Grunhilde, by the way, has been the entire time quite happily humming to herself. She seems to have not at all minded the camping trip and is having a delightful time.
Well, it's not a total loss then.
Just to check, what is Grunhilde's role?
She is, like Oleg, a slightly older physician, older than you. Again, as halflings, ages are hard to tell. They always look so young. And you think she specializes in botany.
Okay.
Haven't spoken to her much, because every time you do, she begins going on and on and on about how many herbal recipes she's found working in the medical field that actually are very tasty.
Well, that's joyful. Maybe when we're not being shot at by mail deliverers, we can have a long conversation.
So, Kruger, once again, what's the marching order? You, Heinrich and Siegfrieda, 2 priests, one very angry, and a Houndmaster with 5 hounds. The hounds, by the way, are starting to be a little upset. They don't like this place. Erica seems fine, but the other hounds are a little anxious about moving forward in this dark. And then, of course, the halfling, and that's it.
Well, perhaps it would make sense if me and the hounds move up first then. I can rely on their superior sense of smell, and I'll be able to hopefully help prevent them from triggering any traps or, well, taking us into some kind of ambush.
Indeed, you lead the way. Between the hounds and your group and your perceptive skills, you're able to avoid the next set of traps. Again, they never seem that more advanced. They're just very basic and crude. You do pass a very foul-smelling area, causing all the hounds to whine, bark, and at this point, Kruger, you're starting to think stealth is no longer an option. It's not the hound's fault, it's just natural reactions from them. And every sound you make echoes so loudly around here. It seems there's an awful lot of dung piled up in a corner with weird little statues, pebbles upon pebbles with little bones on them. Maybe some sort of shrine, you don't know. You head past that. You notice, all of you, that in this gloomy area there are an awful lot of mushrooms. And now some of them glow blue. Not enough to really provide much illumination, but enough to look quite mysterious. There's an awful lot of them. The water calms down eventually once again. And you, Kruger, notice up ahead now, above you, every now and then, are man-made, or person-made at least, walkways, rope bridges, wooden platforms. They go to tunnels. You could maybe climb up to one of them, but none of them are really on your ground level, not yet anyway. You don't see anybody on them. But in the last 2 hours, you've seen at least 4. You definitely are deep in enemy territory now.
Yes, exactly. But we are charting a path that we will hopefully be able to follow, all of us later on. And if we tried to move large forces through here, well, that would be risky. So I still feel pretty good about the approach that we're taking.
Again, it's perfectly logical. The only detriment is that if you were to come under attack now, you, well, would be lacking in power. So that could be very dangerous. But maybe you dying to save the others is a noble sacrifice. But for now, nothing to worry about other than, well, the whole situation really. Finally, as this continues for some time, another hour, again 3 hours now, so this is again seeming like almost like a day's travel. You think back that the others are now very far behind you, although at least you did send messengers. What message, by the way, did you actually send with them? What did you tell them to tell the others? Heinrich Schilf.
I think first and foremost that we are alive. I would warn them about the presence of goblin traps, and then let them know we're pressing forward to investigate what we believe to be a goblin outpost. So they haven't heard from us in 2 days. I don't know, do we ask them to send out a search party, or do we just tell them to assume the worst and press forward for the hammer?
They have to, right? We have to secure that hammer, otherwise the Empire is going to fall. So if we can't get it, they have to.
Well, Siegfried, then if you also agree, then the end of the message would be, if we're not back in 2 days, then carry on forward and save the Empire.
As much as I don't want us pursuing any kind of blunt force approach, I agree. I don't see the benefit in sending out a search party to rescue us if we end up captured, because they are just as liable to fall into the same trap that we do if we fall into one. So yes, I suppose we just encourage them to pursue the hammer in their own way.
Well, then there we have it. Those are the marching orders.
Then, on as you move until Kruger notices that suddenly up ahead, a bunch of rocks have been assembled, sort of 2 piles, and they've been assembled, one pile and then the other, next to a very large outcropping of mushrooms and moss, straight to your left. You can keep walking past whatever this is, but that's unusual. It's like someone's indicating something.
I will move closer to try to see if I can figure out what kind of message they're trying to send here. If we're supposed to do something, leave some kind of offering, or if there's some meaning about these shrines or whatever it is.
Well, you go forward and you're not sure. It's just a mound of mushrooms and moss in front of you. What does this mean? You notice, looking to the left and right, that there are no mushrooms or fungus there. It's only in this area right in front of you, in between the 2 piles of stones.
Curious. I do know that they appreciate mushrooms quite a lot. Perhaps best to not disturb it then.
You certainly could do that. Looking ahead then, you see nothing else except more tunnel. The others join you at this point and also see the same thing, this strange little area highlighted in the wall.
I just plain don't have a skill that would indicate anything about this to me.
You have perception.
Oh, I was looking for like a lore skill. If perception will do it, then I will attempt to perceive.
Please do.
No, that's a 97.
You're right, you have no idea what this is. Is this poisonous? Is this dangerous? Is this the trap? Maybe this is the trap. You go towards this mound and you instantly get devoured by something. This is all this area is making you nervous, Heinrich. You've read about demons, you've read about chaos. You actually admit the witch hunters' annuals on greenskins are basically a page saying, kill them.
Which I'm happy to do if they show up. It doesn't cover anything about strange mushrooms or stone circles.
Correct.
I suppose I could ask Siegfrieda. I know some mushrooms kill you and some mushrooms heal you. Has this been in your fungal studies?
I have to say my fungal studies are sadly lacking, but luckily we have one heck of a halfling physician with us, I say, pushing Grunhilde to the front.
Brunhilde looks at everyone and says, "Oh my! Would you look at that? Absolutely fascinating! Oh, I must have a little sample."
No. Let's just Grunhilde, Doctor. We all very much appreciate your expertise. What we need right now is an answer rather than a dissertation.
Oh, well, all right. Let's have a look. It looks like a very intriguing form of fungi. I wonder why it glows like that. The moss is just standard moss, I suppose. Although normally the moss like this doesn't grow on a surface. It normally grows from like a hanging, you can see the tendrils.
So nothing to explain why it has been decorated such.
No idea. No, it's awfully unusual. Again, normally when they grow like that, they're growing over an opening or, from something downwards. If it was on the surface, you'd expect it to be more spongy. Fascinating. What an odd phenomena.
So what she's saying is, and I will poke the ground with my dagger, this might be covering a pit of some kind.
Interesting, I say. And I also study this.
Is it covering a hollow, Craig, if I'm poking at it with my dagger?
As you go forward, your dagger does go through. Quite easily.
Grunhilde, you are worth your weight in whatever it is you've been eating. And based on the map, is this the correct... well, I know we've got no conception of distance, and we just have a basic leftily direction. But... as it doesn't... there's no sign of depth or scale on the map, I guess heading downward is just as valid a direction as anywhere else.
It certainly is, and as you look at the map and look at where you are, this would be a left turning.
Well, we have always excelled at delving into hollows. Whether they have been sewers, caves, or mines.
And nothing bad has ever happened there.
Oh, we've always come out of it moderately intact.
I suppose that's true.
Kruger, would you like to lead?
I would love to. And I will begin doing just that.
Then you put your hand forward and move aside the great vines and moss and fungus to reveal a dark, single tunnel leading forwards. You see at this point the halfling look excited, the hounds whine, and Priest Captain Jocelyn come forward. We'll have to go one at a time. So what should the marching order be, Inquisitor?
Kruger, you have the sharpest eyes of us. If you're comfortable at the fore.
Absolutely. I'll take the lead.
Captain, how's your shield arm faring these days?
Good.
Then would you be so kind as to keep anything from stabbing us in the back?
Certainly, although this Sigmar protect us. This would all be so much easier if we had a vanguard and troops.
They'd all be marching one at a time. Well then, Kruger, I'm right behind you. And Siegfrieda, wherever you feel comfortable.
At this point, Album just remarks, looking at the hounds. This is going to be hard on the hounds, everyone. They don't want to go in that tunnel.
No, there's no point sending them down there if they're going to grow agitated. You can cover our rear guard, if that makes sense to you, Heinrich. At least they will act as a fine signal to us if there's someone approaching and trying to seal us in. We'll hear the barking for miles.
Oh, that's quite alright. In such tight quarters, having hounds underfoot would be good for none of us.
Then the Houndmaster stays outside and the hounds seem relieved. Erica whines as well, but it's almost like she seems concerned for the other hounds, not her own well-being. She perks her ears up to follow you quite loyally, as always, Siegfrieda.
I will give her a scritch behind the ears, and I will say to her softly, I know you've made friends, but I need you with me right now. So don't worry, we'll see them again.
She doesn't bark, she just gives you an oddly canine nod. Although, again, as always, you're pretty sure it's just the way she moves her head sometimes. And so, with the physician in the middle, and Jocelyn at the front, and the priest as well, you make your way single file through this dark, cramped tunnel. It's not pleasant. The air smells mossy and damp, and without the torches you'd be able to see nothing at all. But eventually, after 5-10 minutes, you find yourself slowly, Kruger, you first, entering a small cave. You look around. You can see that it's a cavern of some kind, not large by any means, but there is another tunnel leading left, there's one leading right, and up above you, you can see there's a bit of a second floor, if you will, to this cavern. Why don't you make a perception check?
That's a 07 under 68.
A perfect success. You are not remotely alone. You can hear them. Snickering. Scurrying. 4 on the left. 4 on the right. Probably archers. Before you, there's a rock, and you think you can see in the gloom. There's a few standing there. You are very much not alone. This area is full of at least 12 night goblins. And they are very aware you can see them, and they're just waiting. What do you do?
I'll signal back to the others. They see us. And how many was it you said? 12?
At least 12. 8 have excellent positions if they have ranged weapons. 4 aren't that well positioned. You could rush them. The archers will be tricky. This is going to be a hard fight. But if they can see you, why are they not attacking? In fact, they can literally, they can see you turning back and saying things, and they're just happily just watching from the dark. You can just now see that their eyes have a slight reddish glow. Just a little red glow, of course. You think it's not that they actually glow, it's more that the light from your torch catches on their eyes.
As it's clear that they see us, I will attempt to communicate. I know that may be completely hopeless, but it's not like we're hidden here. I'll just say, we mean you no harm. We come in peace. Please do not shoot.
Behind you, you hear Jocelyn whisper to those behind her, particularly you, Heinrich. He's going to get us killed. We need to strike now.
I have the feeling, Priest Captain, if they wanted us dead, they would not have revealed their position with eyes, but with arrows. So keep yourself calm. If nothing else, get closer before we strike.
Would you like to make a leadership roll? Give yourself a +10.
I mean, like to is not the phrasing I would use.
If you want, you can have another +10 if Siegfrieda assists. Will you assist Siegfrieda with some calming words of your own?
Well, if I think they'll help, so I will say, we are more than a match for them. If they go to arms, we will do likewise, and I am sure that we will cut through them without any difficulty. If they are not striking us, let us see what it is they have planned, and then we can react accordingly.
Well, with +20, that is 40 under 65, 2 levels of success.
You feel her rage simmering under her expression. You can't blame her. Greenskins are the enemy of the Empire. In Sigmar's own doctrine, they are just as bad as Chaos, the Undead, and, well, anyone who stands against Sigmar, really. But, well, Kruger has a point. They haven't actually attacked you, and they totally could have, several times now, in fact. So maybe he's right on this occasion. Although, how are you personally feeling? Negotiations with Greenskins, is that something you think you'd like to do? Or are you just hoping that he gives you an opening before you strike them yourselves?
The easiest battle to win is when you don't have to fight. I'm under no illusion that we can rid the world of Greenskins any more than we can rid the world of Chaos. But it would be a foolish thing indeed to engage a numerically superior enemy with a tactical advantage in the dark. So Kruger might not have the best idea in the abstract, but it's certainly the best situation we have right now.
Kruger Hoffman. One of the beings steps forward, and as it does so, it clicks its fingers, and a couple of other night goblins just sort of shine some little lanterns in the air. Seems they're holding them. You now can see, yes, 4 on the left, 4 on the right. night goblins. Small, green, squat creatures with long green noses, sharp teeth, and elven-like ears. They are all clad in sort of leathery, ramshackle armor, and they have utterly bizarre hooded hats on that kind of go up far more than is necessary. They are all grinning and smirking at each other as the arrows are trained directly on you. But the one below just moves forward. This one is carrying a stick. And on the end of the stick is a strange carved effigy of the moon. But a weird moon, a moon with a crooked nose and crooked, jagged lines. He's also carrying some sort of white, puffy mushroom ball. He waves his hands about for a second and says,
Hang on, human, hang on.
and begins waving the stick. As he does so, it begins to glow with a strange green glow, and something begins to come out of it like mist. What do you do, Kruger Hoffman?
I'll not knowing what this is, I'll say, we bring gifts, and I will take forth some of those precious mushrooms.
I said, hang on, stupid human, you thick. Hang on!
And it continues to wave this stick, beginning to engulf itself in green smoke. Kruger, you can just see this as well. Magic. You can immediately see Priest Captain Jocelyn is reaching for a hammer.
It's casting a spell. It's servant of the archenemy, it must be!
I just waited. I mean, the situation is still the same tactically. Perhaps it is not something that will be used to attack us.
What do you think, Heinrich Schilf? Magic? Is this a witch? Do greenskins have witches? You have no idea.
If I put a bullet hole in everything that has ever waved a stick threatening at me, I would have depopulated half the Empire.
Certainly true. And so it seems then you wait. And the mist clears. And then the goblin says,
Right. There we are. How is that, stupid human thing? Is your stupid, tiny little brain capable now of understanding the eloquent speech of your intellectual better?
Yes, it's quite clear now, actually. That is amazing.
Wonderful. Yes, Mork, of course, has blessed us and allowed you, stupid human with small brain, tiny brain, to understand basic, intelligent speech. I am now talking in your stupid, foolish language with too many words and letters. Yes, I'm sorry that you have to exist like this, human, but that is being a human. What a wretched, awful existence.
It's very generous of you to come to our level. Honestly, we are very, very grateful.
It certainly is. Yes, you, after all, are most stupid. Coming here with small numbers. Coming here making lots of noise. It is, how would humans say, laughable.
And all the other goblins laugh.
Yes, and we thank you for not killing us right on the spot, even though we are invading your territory. We are not coming to harm you. We are looking for something, a lost weapon, a Warhammer. Have you seen such a thing? It belonged to a great leader of ours who came through these lands many, many years ago.
The goblin shrugs. Warhammer? Sword? Do you not have enough swords, human thing? You always like your swords and spears, and they're very shiny, but you shine them too much, and you think one is better than the other. You want to trade for weapons? Maybe we can trade for weapons. What have you bought? You've bought things. Let us see the things. Throw them here, silly human. Don't get them stained on the ground. Don't get them dirty.
Oh, well, we have brought some gifts, and what we hope can be used to trade for information about this very special weapon. It is not just any weapon. It was wielded by a great leader. It holds great significance for our stupid people.
Why would I care about what humans want? Why would I care about your weapons? No, no, no. You will leave the things, but you will do something for us. Yes, I am Silk Moongobber, and this is my gobber. And he shakes this white puffball at you.
We are here to negotiate, yes, but no weapons trading. No, we have plenty weapons. Don't need stupid human weapons. If we need them, take them from you, stab you from behind, cut throats and take them. Yes, you understand? Normal negotiations.
Of course. We have other things to trade, and I show some of the mushrooms that we brought. These, I believe, are appreciated by your people, no?
They certainly are. Those look quite delicious. Spectacular. Most human things don't understand what actually is valuable. You have no concept of what is good or bad. You think big buildings with silly towers are valuable, but really the mushrooms, the shiny things and other things are much, much better. Yes, this is good. Good start to negotiation. I am willing to concede. You will give us those things, and you will do as I say, and then we will let all your people through.
Well, I suppose that could be a fair deal depending on what it is that you want us to do.
It is totally fair deal. You give us those things, we give you safe patches. All you have to do is kill the shaman.
Oh, the shaman. Is it a rival of yours? A great threat to your tribe, something like that?
A terrible threat to the tribe. Foolish shaman. Has too many of the precious things. Guards them all for himself. I would want them. I want the purple caps. I'm going to get them. Besides, shaman, foolish, cacklespit. How do you say, even a human? Well, no, you humans are extremely stupid, but maybe above you would be cacklespit, yes. He does things like keep us here in caves for too long, very boring, always painting things on walls. No, you will go and kill them. I will show you the way, and when you do so, then we will take these. Actually, we'll take these now. And he begins gesturing to his two of the goblins on his side begin moving forward, clutching their hands and looking at the fungals you've offered them.
Well, I mean, the ones that I've offered it. This is not all that we have. We have more. Please take these as a show of our generosity. And I'll look back to the others. Would it be all right if I confer with my stupid partners here and tell them about this very generous offer that you've made us?
Hurry, but do be quick, stupid human. If I grow impatient, we will just shoot you and take your things anyway. I am offering you the greatest opportunity of your entire life to aid in a glorious revolution, to aid those better than yourselves, and lead the Madcore tribe to glory and prosperity. You should be honored for this. All we ask in return is for you to slay the shaman and then leave, and we will then not murder you all. I promise. He grins.
And we will be allowed to search for this, to pass through and search for this Warhammer, yes?
You can search for whatever shinies you want at the end of the cavern, although I don't know if you'll get past the beasties, but you are humans and you are stupid, so you're welcome to go and die. Maybe we can rob your corpses afterwards.
Well, that is most generous of you. Let me return shortly with an answer, and I will move back to the others and relay this conversation. If they haven't already heard it, they might have. He was quite loud.
They certainly have heard most of it. You go back to the tunnel. There's no need to roll here. Jocelyn is furious, eyeing you all with rage, but keeping it quiet, simply remarking very quietly, "We do not deal with the enemy." But, well, the other priest is a little unsure. The halfling says, "Well, I don't know, maybe we should. Sounds a good deal, no, maybe?"
Well, I mean, the other option is to slay all of them, and that seems very risky. We just have to take out a shaman. We involve ourselves in their affairs, certainly, and it might have dire consequences that we cannot fathom at this point, but at the very least, we would be able to pass through their lands unaccosted once this deed is done. And I'd certainly rather kill one shaman than hundreds and hundreds of goblins. What do you think? I'll look to Sigfrida and Heinrich.
Seems like a fair deal to me, but I don't have the, let's call it, cultural hostility toward these creatures that some of our companions do, I say, giving Jocelyn a very small smile.
What do you think, Heinrich? One thing's for sure, Jocelyn is getting angrier and angrier by the moment. But she at least is outnumbered for now.
I care less and less about what Jocelyn thinks. If she is so foolhardy as to not understand the position we find ourselves in, then may her death be glorious. But it won't come to that. If for no other reason there are several bodies between us, the goblins, and her. We were not sent on this great adventure to crusade against the goblins or the orcs. We are here to find the Warhammer. There'll be time enough for grand campaigns in the future. If it is so simple as putting one of theirs in the dirt, I see no reason why we can't ease our own journey towards the actual goal.
Make a leadership roll. No bonuses this time. But again, you can be assisted by the others. But only one.
Let's see if that's necessary. Ooh, no. There goes my fortune, because I rolled a 100. Well, it's feast or famine. I've rolled a 2.
Jocelyn growls and lowers her weapon. I won't forget this, Inquisitor. If I had my people here, this would be a very different situation, but I'm not a fool. You are all morons, utterly idiotic. They are going to betray us as soon as they can, and to do deeds for them is the same as to do it for the archenemy. But I'm going to pray to Sigmar. I'm going to pray with my entire soul that your errors do not fault the mission. And she just crosses her arms.
Oh, if she thinks I was paying attention, she is deeply, deeply misguided. She can stew and yammer to herself. I have a Warhammer to find and an empire to save.
Very well then. She is silenced, and the others just do as you say. So what do the three of you finally say and do in this scene?
I will move back up then to this great leader. What was the name, did you say again?
He said his name was Silk Moongobber.
Oh, great Silk Moongobber. I come back with a response from our stupid party.
Yes, so long. Problem with humans, you never can work anything out. When you should be stabbing, or stealing, or, well, doing anything. You are... How I'm trying to... The spell, it's difficult for me to understand what I'm saying to you. You just scratch your bums and sit around, drawing on bits of paper and marching with flags. All most funny, most ridiculous.
It is a weakness of our species. We were unfortunately born that stupid. But we have come with an answer, and that is that we will do as you ask. We will help you. We will help you take out the shaman and give you freedom to do the things that you wish to do.
Yes, most wise, most clever. Finally, humans showing some reasonable thoughts. Very good, very good. Yes, I will show you the way. You must go quietly, go quickly. Don't bring the loud one with you. Don't do that. No. A stupid one in armor make lots of noise. I suggest small, sneaky. Go in, and whatever you do, don't say anything. Don't speak, because, stupid humans, you could be easily misled by people telling you things. You don't need that. You could trust me. I can speak to you, you see. Magical spell of Gork. See? I try speaking on human. Half the others don't even know what we're saying. You notice some of the others just sort of look a bit blankly at you.
It is most impressive, I say, smiling. Well, show us the way.
And he quickly begins withdrawing from his person another piece of paper. This one shows you another X with the smiley face. This time that's maybe where you are. And then just a way down, there is then a right tunnel. Follow this tunnel, go up, lead to main cavern, then make way to chamber of Cacklespit, and stab, kill, slice throat. I don't really care. I will be nearby. When the deed is done, you come out, you tell me, and then I shall come in, confirm, and then the Madclaw tribe will be mine. And then when it is mine, of course, you are all free to go. Aren't I generous to stupid, idiotic human?
You are so incredibly generous, and we are so grateful to have come across you during our journey.
Indeed. As I said, you can trust me completely.
Would you like to make an intuition roll?
That is a 14 under 59.
Not even a little bit.
No, but I do on some level trust that his he is interested in taking command of this tribe. That is what he wants us to do. He might, of course, try to kill us after the fact, but I mean, would there be a reason to do so? I mean, we could just hopefully make our way through here.
On that roll, the reason would be he's a night goblin. But at the same time, you also don't know. That's the problem with night goblins. That's the problem with the diplomacy and all the things. The people who've tried say sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. You seem to have found a way of it working, but for how long, you just don't know. Other than the fact that you definitely don't think you can trust this particular individual for too long.
No, but he has a very clear self-interest here. We'll help him achieve that, and hopefully he'll be so busy celebrating his victory that he'll forget about us, and we'll be able to pass through unaccosted.
Indeed.
So I'll show the map that we have received then to the others, and begin leading the way.
I will give a courteous nod to this gobber and say, "It has been a pleasure to get to hear one such as you speak at length."
It has been utterly boring and irritating and unpleasant to talk to you.
It smiles.
I hope that is a nice thing to say, yes?
You remind me so much of many of the guilders who dwell in our capitals, which is why I will continue walking.
Why, thank you, humans. Good luck. Try not to die. At least if you do, try to make sure you don't drop any of your valuable things.
And the rest of the goblins just begin laughing to themselves as you leave this tunnel and go outside. It doesn't take long to follow this new map because it seems very close. You see above you, Kruger, what looks like a really big bridge, and this time there are some very small dim torches. This, of course, is far above you. But where you're going seems to be another one of these mossy openings that leads beneath.
That is the way then.
Then your party enter this new tunnel. Jocelyn, full of anger. The halfling, Grunhilda, looking a little concerned at this point. You have to admit this isn't really her thing, coming on covert missions. But for now, maybe you can sort that out later, as you descend deeper into the dark.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the legendary campaign The Enemy Within for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, published by Cubicle 7. In this final part of the series, we are tackling Empire in Ruins. Joining us as players in this series are none other than Aaron Hammonds from Queen's Court Games and our dear friend Matthew Dawkins. The music was made by Flowers for Body Snatchers, Wordclock, Metatron Omega, Ager Sonus, Apocryphus, Halgrath, and Northumbria, featuring a number of collaborations with other artists, and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Mike Parker, Maciej, and Black Templar for their generous support. We would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to our Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay bonus campaign, Rough Nights and Hard Days, as well as bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost and Call of Cthulhu there. On top of that, we also offer early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that Skaven are definitely not real, and even if they were, the Emperor has already dealt with that particular problem.